So one of the hot topics that I've been discussing a lot with organizations across the country is how is the market for candidates changing? Are we still in a employer-driven market, or are we starting to make that shift to a candidate-driven market that we saw back in 2007? And the reality of it is, although we're not to that extreme today, we're starting to move back into that market that tends to be more candidate-driven, because the reality of what's happening is people with very specialized skills are starting to make a choice again of where they want to work, for whom they want to work, what they want to be doing. Not so much about the compensation piece, but all of those other pieces. In fact, Forbes this year is saying that this is the year of the employee, that the employees, because of the shortage of very specialized skills, because of the opportunity driven by an increasingly stronger economy, that they're basically going to go where they want to go. In fact, recruiters all across the country and organizations all across the country are saying that this is the first time since 2007 that we're having difficulty getting candidates to join us. We're having more candidates quit than ever before, seems to be the trend. So what's causing these individuals to turn down job offers? Because we're seeing a resurgence of counteroffers, of just flat out declines. And based on the studies, there's really two things that are driving candidates to say, yeah, not that opportunity. And one is really about the overall opportunity, not just compensationally driven, but according to a study that was done in early 2014, it was actually April this month in 2014, half of recruiters say that a lot of these candidates decline job offers because they received a better offer somewhere else. Not just financially, but the entire opportunity, including financials, including things like equity and so forth, was stronger somewhere else. So what does that tell us? It tells us that these really qualified candidates are getting multiple offers at the same time, and they're somewhat shopping themselves to see where's the better overall opportunity. So number one, they're getting better offers somewhere else. Number two, compensation isn't living up to what they expected. Now, we all saw what happened during the dot-com bubble years and years ago, that employers were hiring new college grads and giving them BMWs and all this other stuff. I don't think we're there. I don't think we're going to get there anytime soon again. But there's a certain level of expectation in light of what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years or 6 years with our economy, that when offers are coming in and they're much, much lower than anticipated, candidates aren't countering. Unfortunately, candidates are getting up and they're walking away, which is causing a lot of issues for employers as they continue to try to recruit these individuals and bring them on board. The third thing that is affecting a lot of these declines or churn-offs is really what we would, on the recruiting side, consider time to fill. But it's on the opposite side. For them, it's time to wait. So more and more and more, as candidates have more opportunities, and organizations are taking them through these long, rigorous recruiting processes, which is great. But the candidate spends more time waiting and not knowing than waiting and understanding what's going on. And as they're waiting, what do? They're looking at other opportunities. And a lot of them, because they've waited too long, they don't feel that they've been treated the right way. They walk away even when an offer comes through. In fact, there's as much as 40% of the candidates that are surveyed out there say there's an unacceptable lapse time between the time they interview and the time it gets to offer or next stage. So that's a problem. So what do we do about it? I don't think there's one answer for everything. But in this type of market, there's a number of real basic things, 3 or 4 of them, that I think we as organizations all need to be cognizant of as we're starting to engage candidates and bring them over. First of all, we have these millennials. Millennials love to feel appreciated. It's not just the dollars, it's about the work they've done and the work they will be doing. As an organization, you need to be absolutely clear-cut on goals 6 months from now, 1 year from now, so they understand the circumstances they're getting into. It's not, hey, we'll get to that at some point once you join us and we'll figure it out. More and more and more, the millennials are looking for what's the impact I will make for that particular organization. Obviously, as the economy has gotten better, we've got to go back and review salary, benefits, perks, and so forth. Again, in some categories, in some demographics, it's not the #1 driver. But after the last few years where maybe I didn't get a raise, maybe I went backwards in order to keep my job, I've got to make some of that up. So we need to make sure we're being competitive, not ahead, not behind. but competitive in the overall opportunity, and especially with salaries, benefits, and so forth. Things like technology, succession planning, educational opportunities, all of those extra things that maybe have gone away over the last couple of years are important to being able to recruit and entice the right level of candidate. And then, of course, something that's been really missing the last couple of years is what we refer to as the employment brand. What is the employer brand? What does the company stand for? If you go out on social media, for example, and look at what people are saying about your organizations, current employees, past employees, it's one of the first places a candidate's going to go to see what do people think about that organization that have left and maybe moved on to bigger and better things, or are still there. We've got to be cautious. We've got to make sure we're painting the right picture. We have the right opportunities now. The market has shifted. And unless we're prepared for that shift and get ahead of that shift, those of us that don't do that, those organizations that don't do that, will be struggling. You'll find the right individual, but getting them to join your organization is going to be a challenge.